What up, great nation? Gabe the Great back here again for another video. Hopefully you guys are enjoying your week. Happy Halloween to everybody who is celebrated. Hey, if it's your first time on the channel, we like to cover all things basketball. We cover NBA, WNBA, AAU, everything in between. So if you like basketball, you like talking about it, this is the spot for you. All right, so today let's jump straight into the video. We're going to talk about something that I got a big problem with, okay? And it's with the people who cover the WNBA, okay? There was a clip last night of Isaiah Thomas and Candace Parker that kind of went viral. A guy posted it. It got over 500 retweets. A lot of people were talking about this. And so I wanted to talk about it today because I don't really think there's anything to talk about in this clip. But I'm gonna show you the clip and then we're gonna jump into it, okay? So here's the post right here. It's on Twitter. It says, Isaiah Thomas to Candace Parker, you have a similar skill set to Anthony Davis with the exception of his jumping ability and dunking. All right, just listen to the clip for yourself. All right, here we go.
So Candace, let me ask you this question, because you have a similar skill set to AD with the exception of, you know, his jumping ability, dunking and everything else, but
what's the problem? What's the problem? This caused a huge sort of mini outrage last night with some people in the WNBA community. Isaiah Thomas, all he said was that Candace Parker has a similar skill set to Anthony Davis with the exception of his jumping and dunking, which is true. It's 100% true. There's no lies. But everyone was getting all in their back talking about Candace Parker has dunked. Candace Parker's dunked before. Yes, we know Candace Parker has dunked before. Candace Parker has one dunk in her dunk package. Okay? Now, hey, it's more than me. It's more than us fans. But that's not the point. The point is, I thought this was a compliment to say if Anthony Davis is a monster. Saying that Candace Parker and Anthony Davis has a similar skill set, which I think is actually pretty comparable. I think that's a very comparable comparison, Anthony Davis and Candace Parker. There should be no issue with this. But the people who cover the WNBA ruin the WNBA for the casual fan and even for fans of the WNBA. This is not an issue. But this caused a tweet and everything. One person said, where is it? Oh no, that's something about a gather or something like that. One person said, you know, this writer right here goes, oh, Candace Parker won the McDonald's All-American Dunk Contest, but sure. Okay, let's not even start with that, okay? Let's not even go there. Because we know that when a lot of these, if we're going to be honest, when women win the dunk contest against men, it's because they're women, okay? I said it, crucify me for it, I don't care. But I've watched these dunk competitions, and come on now, let's stop. Like this is the issue. This is why the WNBA cannot expand its base. This reason right here, because people do not know, like people, everything that a commentator says about a WNBA player is not because she's a woman. And until we can get to a place in our society and in the basketball community where we can comment, critique, criticize, have differing opinions about particular female athletes, particular female basketball players, this sport will never grow. It can't grow. It can't grow because in the WNBA, all the people who covered the WNBA make it an echo chamber. And so if you think that there was something not wrong with what he said, then something is wrong with you. Another person says, I find it very annoying that people who try to discredit women's basketball by saying they don't dunk. Maybe y'all should watch dunk contests instead of 40 minutes of regulation. I'm just saying. And then I comment, I think they do. That's why the W isn't making any money, right? That's another issue I have. Like when people say, hey, there's no dunks in women's basketball, or there's not a lot of dunks in women's basketball. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Like if I'm going to pay money, and again, this is what people don't get. This is why athletes are losing the battle on so many fronts. This is why I talked a little bit about it in the NCAA video. This is why student athletes, they're not able to make as much money as they can, because they see themselves as athletes and they don't see themselves as entertainers. Athletes are entertainers, okay? If I'm going to spend my money to be entertained, crazy idea, I want to be entertained. Dunks are entertaining, especially to casual fans. And this is what people who cover the WNBA don't get. The people who cover the WNBA are so annoying. Like they just don't get it. They don't get that the casual fan does not understand ball movement, spacing, screens, and all that. The casual fan does not watch the basketball for that. The casual basketball fan watches the game to see something that they couldn't do themselves, or to see something amazing. Okay? And people don't find when people can't dunk particularly amazing. But regardless of that, what they haven't figured out about the WNBA and about women's sports in general is what makes women's sports entertaining. What Isaiah Thomas said about Candace Parker was a compliment. It was not an insult, but people are getting all outraged over it. Because it's true. She has a very similar skill set to Anthony Davis, except for, his jumping ability and dunking. Yes, Candace Parker will tell you that. This is what's crazy to me. The people who cover the NBA, the WNBA, will hype them up like, oh, they can play just as good as the men. But then if you actually ask WNBA players, right, like a Sue Bird, like a Candace Parker, they will tell you that the men are better than them. So the women who play the game have no problem with saying that, hey, the men are better than us. They have more athletic ability than us. It's the people who cover the WNBA who suck. They suck at their job, and they make the sport unbearable. So number one, you want me to watch a less entertaining product, okay? Again, I've talked about this. The space for basketball is very competitive because I can watch the NBA, the WNBA, NCAA women's, NCAA men's. I can watch high school. I can watch AAU clips on YouTube. I can watch EuroLeague. I can watch the NBL. Like, I have so many options for a high-level competitive basketball. Very high-level competitive basketball. I have a lot of options. And my thing is that the WNBA, or particularly their media around the WNBA and the WNBA itself, has not figured out how to make this brand stick out as entertaining. So what they do is, because they can't figure out how to make this brand work, is they want to blame it on anyone who criticizes or anyone who critiques, or anyone who says anything that's not in the utmost regard about WNBA players, okay? If you are not praising a WNBA player, something's wrong with you. And that's just not how the game works. And I think until we get to the day where we can speak honestly about WNBA players, it's never ever going to get to this point. They're never going to be a profitable league. And they're never going to be taken seriously. I've always said this: the WNBA could never handle a Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless gets on TV every single day, and all he does is unfairly criticize NBA players, whether that's LeBron James or Kawhi Leonard or anybody else, right? All he does is get on TV every single day and unfairly criticize these male athletes, these male basketball players. No one says anything about him. As a matter of fact, anybody will tell you Skip Bayless has been fundamental in the expansion of basketball culture, because there were no sports like debate shows before Skip started doing it in the 90s. He was like one of the first. He's the pioneer, a true pioneer of sports debate shows, right? With cold pizza, and then First Take, and now that spawned off to a bunch of different kind of sports debate talk shows. And all a sports debates talk show is us sharing competing ideas about our favorite athletes. The problem with the WNBA is that you cannot share competing ideas. You can't get on TV and say something like, oh yeah, she's good, but she lacks these qualities. Because if you say that, people get outraged about it. If you tell the truth about women's sports, women basketball players, people get upset about it. And that's why I don't even think women take the WNBA seriously, because you can't take it seriously. We can't have an honest conversation about it. But that's just something I think, man. Like I think like the people who cover the WNBA, they're so annoying. They're so annoying. Nothing that Isaiah Thomas said was insulting right there. Nothing Isaiah Thomas said was demeaning, was trying to belittle Candace Parker. I think Candace Parker would agree. When if you watch their whole set, like I watched that whole program, Candace Parker didn't look like she had any issue with it the entire time. But you know how people are. They take clips, put it on Twitter, and then that's that. But what do you guys think? Are you guys like me, kind of sick of the people? I think the people who actually cover the WNBA is one of the reasons why the WNBA is not growing. Because one of the things that, again, like I said, helped the NBA grow was that we are able to have very intense and passionate debates about our favorite NBA players. We can't do that with WNBA players without it being seen as slighting them. What do you guys think? Do you guys agree with me, or are you guys like, no, Isaiah Thomas was insulting right there? I don't know. I think that if we continue say that things like this is insulting to female basketball players, you're basically saying that female basketball players are too weak to take criticism. That's my take on it. What do you guys think? Leave me a comment down in the comment section. You guys like the WNBA videos, so I know there's a market out there. I know people are interested in it. Maybe it's just about how you cover it. If you guys want to see more WNBA stuff, let me know. New vlog tomorrow about our high school basketball team. We'll be getting that out tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that. But remember, be great, be grateful. See you next time. Peace.